I've got a high rye battle tonight. Let's see who comes out victorious. Tonight, I will be comparing Remus Single Barrel High Rye. Here you go. There you go. Single barrel 108 proof, 60% corn, 36% rye. And that leaves us 4% on the barley. A competitor is going to be the Blue Run High Rye. I've actually not done a review on this. It is going to be hard to read, so let me read it for you. Let's see. 822. All right. So we're bottle number 2412, batch fall. Let's see. So it was bottled on 8/25/22. Don't know the age statement on this. We are the 111 proof. This is definitely not going to be a single barrel. At least let's make sure it's not going to be. Let me look that up real quick. And that is something we definitely would find out. So what is our mash bill on this? 65% corn, 30% rye, 5% malted barley. So basically almost the exact same mash bill, just 1% more barley in this one and 1% more rye in the Remus. Now we got the Baker's single barrel high rye, 7 years, 6 months age. Ooh, is it going to tell us how high of a rye statement it is? It is not. It is not. This is a bean product, 7 year, 107 on the proof. Does not give me the actual mash bill, which that's all right. That's all right. We'll be able to taste this out. All right. So I just finished. Ooh, got a little excited with the pour. Everything's still good up there. Here we go. So I just did a review on this one. Very first time trying it was tonight. I have had it this evening. So this is not going to be my first drinks of the evening. Since I started with that, I'd kind of rather start with this. So this is going to be Baker's Single Barrel High Rye. This is going to be their 7 year. It's actually 7 years, 6 months. I love that they put that on the bottle. It's fantastic. The more the bottle tells you, the more proud they are of the bourbon, in my opinion. 107 proof, 7 year. Oh, and that rye is front forward on this sucker. Yeah, I haven't done a review on this. So my biggest issue with how I drink is I love to share, and so when I get a bottle that other people haven't tried, I share it. And a lot of times, like I was able to open this tonight on the show, which is kind of cool. Not very often do I get to try something and get a real reaction of something that I've never ever tried before. So let's just take a sip. Goodness sakes, I'm gonna end up. Oh, that is high rye. Oh, I'd love to know that mash bill on that because that rye really pops heavy on that. Man, man, it really does. Sorry, I'm just gonna look at this bottle and make sure I'm not missing it. Oh man, that is a definite front forward rye on that sucker. I mean, it is attacking you. That is even a little bolder than Wild Turkey. I love Wild Turkey. Um, oh my goodness. All right. Hmm. All right. I'll just take two little sips out of each one. Oh, that is delicious. Man. All right. God, so I've had the Remus tonight. So basically, that's what I'm comparing right now, those two. I will come get to that. I probably shouldn't even say that. But let's be truthful. I did review this evening. It is on its way to getting posted right now. All right, so we got the Blue Run High Rye, 110 proof, so a little bit higher on the proof. Also Kentucky bourbon. Don't know much about it. I'll be honest. The store I work in, we don't sell a ton of it, and price is a little It's a little high priced. Let's put it where it is. Like this is about a $75 bottle. Blue Run's going to cost you closer to 90, 92, somewhere in that range, which that can be a hindrance on a bottle of bourbon, let's be honest. So, because I've had this on the shelf for a long time up at the store. First thing I noticed, definitely not as much nose on the rye or spice. Because the Baker's was not my first drink of the night. So I've had something else. So my spice notes on my palate were already on fire. They've already been hit heavy. They get hit heavy, and I love it. So, initial thoughts. So it's a little quicker on the finish, which I enjoy a long finish, you know. And you can almost even tell, I mean, just look color difference on those. That's definitely got a darker hue than the Blue Run's. Probably 9 times out of the 10, that's coming from the barrel, obviously. You get the color from the barrel, so this is probably going to be a little less age statement. Higher proof, which means definitely less age, because your higher proof also is going to keep that a darker bourbon. So, but it's nice. It is nice. Doesn't attack the taste buds. It doesn't taste as high of a rye. It'd be nice to know what kind of rye they're actually using, because each one's going to have a little bit different spice notes, and it's going to blend together with the corn better or worse, or the corn's going to nullify it, whatever it may be. Because what are we only at where'd that mash bill go? I mean, we're only 5% malted barley, so the corn and the rye should just overpower that immensely. Definitely smoother even at a higher proof. I guess it's got more on the back end heat than the Baker's, but the Baker's they're really spicy on the mouth. Really attack those taste buds. I always like to clean my palate with some water in between drinks, especially if I'm doing something like this where I'm doing comparison. I want it as clean as possible. Granted, the last one's always going to be a little more dull because we've already had a couple drinks of really high proof, really nice bourbons. Oh man, that's so much different. Oh man, it's almost sweet's not quite the right word. I wish I had a better vocabulary, but so it's not necessarily sweet, but it's not spicy. And the Baker's definitely popped really spicy. The rye really popped on the nose. Blue Run not so much. It was almost a duller nose. Let's be honest. Even the highest proof of them all, the Remus is a single barrel at 108.5 proof. Blue Run 111. Baker's is a single barrel as well at 107 proof. I don't have an age statement on the Remus, so I wish I had a little more information on those. Look it up. Sorry. I just want to drink bourbon. I do research it. I try to make bourbon as a lone person trying to start a distillery. But a lot of my time isn't researching other bottles. Just find out everything I need to know about them, I guess. My feeling is, hold on. A lot of times my feeling is what the distillery wants you to know about the bottle is it's going to put it on there. And like you can look up notes and whatnot. I try not to get into too many flavor profiles because I've found my flavor profiles. So what it tells me I'm going to taste is not always what I'm going to taste. So I like to compare bottles because I think that's a little more fair. Hey, if you like this bottle, you're probably going to like these other bottles, and vice versa. You don't like this, whatever it may be. So I try to do my bourbon reviews kind of like that, where, hey, if you like this, you're going to like this. So with all these high ryes, man, like if you don't like Wild Turkey, you are not going to like these. let's just start there. And a lot of high rise, like we're getting all these. It's winter. It's the day before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Don't let me forget that. But so a lot of the high rise come out this time of year because your special editions are going to be. Ooh, that's really damn good. God, that rye is so much different. Sorry, I'm just going to totally change thoughts because I took a drink. So this rye is totally different. It is more front forward. It's so your Bakers and your Remus are way more front forward on the rye than the Blue Run. A lot more spice, but it's interesting how different they are in terms of the Bakers is a lot more spice, a lot more burn. The Remus is a little less spice, almost a sweet. Like they're so good at their ryes. God, the Remus. So Ross and Squibb Distillery out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So the only so both these, the Bakers, the Blue Run out of Kentucky, Remus out of Indiana. Think MGP. And they do it so many ryes on the market. A lot of distilleries aren't messing with ryes. Oh man. So 2 drinks of each. The Bakers and the Remus, but definitely my go-to, my favorite so far. And then I'll do a comparison to those. And what's interesting, so this is a $60 bottle. This is about $74. Dude, the Blue Run is $92. You're in the 90s. And granted, you're getting a little more proof out of it. I'm going to give it one more. But that's a lot of alcohol nose and not a lot of flavor nose. The Remus, I like the Remus nose better. Bakers. That Baker's nose is delightful. It really is. All right. So we're gonna knock this sucker out. So out of the high rise tonight, Blue Run not making it. Not making it. All right. So we got these 2 to go. Let's have one more sip, one more nose. Oh man, that's a fantastic nose. That's what I want out of my rye. Oh man, nose. That's super good. God, that's super good. Taste it though. A lot of things smell good. They don't taste good. God, I really love it. I really do. God, that rye. Every time it just just attacks like the aboves of my taste buds. And everything I'm kind of tell people when I'm doing this. So I've been in the liquor industry. I used to sell bourbon. I've been on tours. I've met master distillers. I actually have master distillers that I go see now. Like I was at Union Horse the other day out of Lenexa, just talking with him and kind of just learning what I can learn. And I love learning about bourbon. And so I did a lot of regurgitation. So, and what I found is I don't enjoy the flavor talk, like the caramel, the vanilla, the oak, the coffee, all that. Like a lot of times, that's not going to help your average bourbon drinker unless you are just an absolute connoisseur. Like I know exactly what I'm going to taste when I hear these notes and blah blah blah. Like I know as myself as a longtime bourbon drinker, like I don't get everything. I don't get all those flavors out of everything I taste, even though they're already embedded in my brain. Like, so when I used to sell bourbon, so a lot of cases the master distiller would come in and be like, okay, so I taste this, or I taste this, this, and this. My nose is going to be this, this, and this. And I'm smelling, I'm like, some of that not. I actually taste something different. Like, so everybody's a little different. That's all I'm trying to get to. So I try not to do that. And that may bug people and that whatever. Like, Like I just drink bourbon how I like to drink bourbon. And I'm getting a little long winded. These damn. I should never do three different varieties. But I like the Baker's smell better. God, that Remus just it is blended so well. Like you get the spice from the rye. The rye's definitely way more front forward on the Baker's in terms of palate. Um, but then it softens going down the Remus. Oh man. So it gets me so every bourbon kind of gets different parts of my mouth activated. And what I've learned, again, everything that I'm kind of regurgitating, and I'm going to repeat myself because I've drank quite a bit of bourbon tonight. I did 2 glasses review on that, and now we're into these, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So how long am I in here? What are we at? 16 minutes. Okay, so we're not too long. Sorry, this one's gonna get out of control. God, so the nose on that is total rye front forward. Like I would almost call that a rye if I was just smelling it blind. This one's a little more mellow. You can definitely smell the rye on it, but it's mellow. It's not as. I mean, God, I can think of some ryes that just totally regurgitates itself as I'm smelling it. I'm just thinking of God, almost a Pikesville, almost a pepper. God, bolder than a Willet. Like that, it's so interesting. So anyway, I'm gonna have to narrow it down between these two, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. So if you're here looking for flavor profiles, and that's the thing, like you can look all this stuff up. Like Google Baker's single barrel high rye. They'll tell you what you're supposed to taste. That doesn't help me. You know what I'm saying? Like the mash bill helps me. It definitely helps me. I know what mash bill I like. I know what kind of range I need everything to be in for me to like it, but there's always going to be surprises. And it's not always blended together good. I've had a lot of bottles where I read the bottle, I'm like, oh, that's going to be delicious. And you get it home and you're like, that's so disappointing. What, like, how's this mash bill turn into these flavors? So there's a lot that goes into that. And so I try to steer clear of that because it's so easy. Like, Google Remus single barrel right now. Dude, before I even finish the sentence, you can have all the taste profiles that it wants you to have, all the notes, all the smells, and everything. Is that going to tell you you're going to like it? Like you like wild turkey, you're going to love it. I'll tell you that right now. You like rare breed? Oh, dude, this is for you, and only like $10 more than rare breed. It's the subtlety of the rye and the Remus. It's a little more subtle. It almost blends into not a sweet, but a how do you want to describe it? Not pepper forward, but not totally rye forward. It's just blended. Like they're so good at that. The MGP is so good at the rye and the bourbon blend, and it's amazing because some like you read a bottle and it's like, hey, this is out of Kentucky, but it's distilled in Indiana. Okay, so that's MGP. And you taste it, you're like, hey, I like most MGP products. Like, let's go down the line. There's tons of them out there that don't have their name on it. And you taste it and you're like, well, what happened to this? Like, what did you do as the master distiller to make something that I know is a good product and turn it into something that I don't enjoy? And that's going to be different. Like, every master distiller is not going to have your same taste profile. And So something that they may think is just absolutely the best thing ever may not be to you as the consumer. And so if that master distiller is like, oh, I get this out of this, this out of this, that's where all those notes come from. That's typically, or it's a review of somebody that is really renowned. And I can't think of one right now, but there's guys out there. Guy with the Bible, the Bourbon Bible book that I've read that I got. But as a master distiller, you're trying your brands. As a reviewer, you're trying all the brands. So I don't know. It's such a weird intricacy because the master distiller is supposed to have the best palate at the distillery, or at least most sought after, however you want to describe it. But sometimes they're so refined with their palate that they're getting notes that an average person is not going to get out of it. Or even bourbon, someone that considers themselves like a connoisseur of bourbon, like somebody that is all they drink all the time. They've been doing it for 30 years. They try a lot of different things. Like they consider themselves, at that point, you know what you like. You know what you're getting out of things. And like I haven't been on bourbon my entire life. I'm on about a 20-year run, I guess, a little less, you might say. But I've also had the opportunity to try so many that a lot of people haven't been able to try, no matter how long you've been bourbon hunting. And I've been very, very fortunate that way. God, I love the nose of the Bakers. Sorry, I'm still going to get to these two. And so I have a lot of, you might say, taste. My taste encyclopedia is probably higher than your average bourbon drinker. But I love your average bourbons. Like these aren't expensive bottles. This is $60. This is a $75 bottle. Stuff that is a little tough to get, let's be real honest, but like it reminds me of other things that aren't tough to get. Like this is a very rare breed, wild turkey rare breed flavor. The Bakers, man, you gotta like the ryes for the Bakers. Like, I'll be honest. I'm surprised how high of a rye that actually is. It's still a bourbon, so it's at least 51% corn. So it's a high rye bourbon, so it's at least 51% corn. But man, it might be in the upper 40s. And that's the thing, you look this up. Like, I'm just going off my nose, my palate, what I've drank of it, and I've had some of it. Again, my problem is when I get a bottle that's new, like I open this up for a couple of bourbon lovers up at this store. And like we have the regular Baker's 7 on the shelf. At least for a while, we've been able to keep it on the shelf. It's allocated, but we've been able to find it. Well, this is brand new to us. And we got a couple bottles. I wanted to try one. I love the Baker's. And I love high rye bourbon. So, like, this is a perfect match for me. I'm very excited. But you only get we only get 2 bottles of it at the store. Well, I want to try some people on it, so I opened this before I even left the store. We were doing a tasting. I mean, come on. Like, bourbon is about sharing, especially this time of year, because it's hard to get bourbons come out. Like, I've had a lot of people try the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass, and it's delightful. I didn't think I was going to be able to get my hands on it, and it's delicious. And the Remus is brand new to Kansas this year. The special edition, the Baker's High Rye. I've never seen it before. We got a couple bottles of it. I was like, you know what? Like, I want to try it. I'm going to taste a couple people on it. And it may be hard to get now, but eventually it may not be that hard to get. Like, that's how bourbon's very cyclical that way. And I'm getting long-winded. All right. Holy shit. Okay, 24 minutes in. I've got to rank a winner. So the Remus, I literally just did a review on it. I gave it an 89. That means if I like the Bakers more, it's got to be higher than an 89. And the nose, the Baker wins. Remus. See, and this is for my palate. Like I'm telling you, most people are going to like the Remus more. Smoother, softer. Still pops nicely, bite. But it's not a real high rye nose or spice going down, I guess. Bakers, Jesus, it's the Bakers. I mean, that is rye forward, and I love it. I love it. That's gonna be my winner. God, I really didn't think it was gonna come out this way. Like when I tried the Blue Run by itself, I loved the Blue Run. The Remus I just tried tonight. Really enjoyed it. The Baker, I've had a few drinks of it, obviously. And I really enjoyed that. And it was, I didn't think it would beat the rest of Baker's 7-year high rye. Ryan Herman loves bourbon, gives it I'm going to give it a 90. I can only give it one more point than the Remus because I do love the Remus. It's delicious. But I'll tell you what, this time of year, it's cold, it's rainy. Oh, I feel like it's Groundhog Day. It's cold every day. But today, the spice of the Baker's high rye was getting me where I want to be. God, and that nose is amazing. It's hard to say that's not the winner. Baker 7 wins it for me tonight. Goodness sakes. If you're still here, I really appreciate you being here because I can't imagine if I've been out of control on everything. Just remember, my name is Ryan Herman. I love bourbon. I hope you do too. If you're ever around Baser, Kansas, come up and see me at Sam's Liquor and Smoke Shop. I love talking bourbon. Love selling bourbon. Let's have a discussion. I love it. I love it. Baker 7, my winner tonight on the high rye bourbon competition. It wasn't a landslide, but it was delightful. It was delightful. Get yourself a bottle of that for $75. It is worth it. I absolutely loved it. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.